Despite ongoing education regarding the importance of helmet use and the need for safe coexistence between cyclists and drivers, cycling continues to result in significant injuries to cyclists each year. Speaking with me about this today is Dale Orlando. He's a partner from McLeish Orlando and a member of the Personal Injury Alliance. Dale, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Rick. How are you?
Well, I'm good, thank you. So let me ask you, how significant is the risk of cycling-related accidents?
Probably more significant than you realize. We have roughly 26,000 people in the province that end up in the emergency room as a result of cycling accidents each year. And the estimate is that about 80% of cycling-related accidents go unreported, so the number might actually be much higher.
Wow. So how serious an impact do these accidents have on the victims and their families?
Well, lawyers from my firm, McLeish Orlando, as well as Thompson Rogers and Oatley Vigman, are other partners in the Personal Injury Alliance. We have extensive experience dealing with cycling accidents and dealing with the devastating impact it can have on the families of the injured people as well as the injured people. And what we've seen is obviously some people have relatively minor injuries, but the majority, unfortunately, of people that are involved in an altercation between a motor vehicle and a bicycle, the bicyclists come out on the losing end, and we've seen people with spinal cord injuries and brain injuries and serious orthopedic injuries with a long, painful road of rehabilitation and costly rehabilitation ahead of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I love riding my bike, and I honestly love riding my bike without a helmet. It's something my wife has always given me a hard time about. But
you shouldn't do that, right?
No, exactly. I know that we should be wearing helmets, but how big of a difference do helmets really make?
Well, the studies are pretty conclusive that helmets either reduce or eliminate the severity of any sort of head injury that people have. That's why the government of Ontario in 1995 passed a law mandating helmets as required for people under the age of 18. And as a parent of 4 children, I always make sure that my kids have their helmets on, but some parents don't, and they can be charged if they're knowingly allowing their child under the age of 16 to ride on a roadway without a helmet.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, we do see many kids injured not wearing helmets. For example, in the city of Toronto in 2012, we had 51 cyclists between the ages of 5 and 14 injured in cycling collisions. Only 13 were wearing helmets.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I mean, it makes sense. You wear a helmet, you're going to be safer. So let me ask this. Beyond helmet usage, what can cyclists, particularly those riding in the roads up here in cottage country, do to ensure they're as safe as possible?
Well, when you're on your bicycle and you're on a roadway, you're considered to be a motor vehicle under the Highway Traffic Act, and you do have to obey all of the traffic laws. So, signaling your turns and all of the other things that you would normally do when you're in your vehicle, you should be doing when you're on your bicycle. Cottage country roads can be dangerous. I've got a little place up in Honey Harbor, and I like to cycle when I'm up there, and I know that the roads around my place, there's not a lot of shoulder.
Right.
The roads are a little bit more narrow than you see in the city, and there's a lot of hills and curves, so you really have to be concerned about visibility. Ride as close as you can to the edge of the pavement. Make sure that you're doing everything you can to make yourself seen by drivers of cars, because we know that people driving cars just don't see cyclists. So, flashing lights on your bicycle, on your helmet, reflectors are all helpful. Wearing bright-colored clothing that's reflective is also very helpful. I mean, you want to be seen.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, when it comes right down to it, if the worst happens, what rights do cyclists who are injured in a collision with an automobile have?
Well, they have the right to sue the at-fault motorist. And when I say fault, if they're not obeying all of the rules of the road and they're not wearing their helmet and their protective gear, there will be an allocation of fault as between the driver and the cyclist, meaning the cyclist becomes partly to blame for the accident by not taking these precautions that we talked about. But obviously when you get into a lawsuit, you're looking at all of the different types of damages that a person can suffer, from pain and suffering and loss of income to providing for the cost of all of the medical care that people need following serious injuries.
Okay, so if I'm hurt in a cycling-related accident, what should I do?
Well, I mean, obviously a starting point is to is to hire a qualified lawyer. You want somebody who has extensive experience dealing with cycling accidents and dealing with serious injury cases. The lawyers of the Personal Injury Alliance handle these types of cases routinely, and we're there to help people ensure that they get the best possible care and representation.
All right, so our listeners that are out there that are listening now and they say, hey, I need to get more information on this, where should they go?
Well, they can visit us at our website, pialaw.ca.
Okay, pialaw.ca. And that's got all the information, the numbers to call, the specialists, all that kind of stuff.
Everything they need is right there.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you, Dale Orlando, for talking with us this morning and shedding some valuable information on something that's becoming all too popular, not just in Haliburton, but right across the country. Thanks again, sir.
It was my pleasure.